Today is Saturday, February 14th, 2026. As usual, we'll give it some time for others to join and we'll get started. All right, we have some people joining now. I'll give another minute or so. Mike, happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Hope everybody gets a new gun for Valentine's Day. I figured I'd wear my cap today to piss off the liberals. So I'm following the gun laws and the gun bills for New Jersey because we used to live there. And I see yesterday, New Jersey's got this stupid thing about sensitive areas. Now I see that they classified church as a sensitive area. Where in the Constitution does it even mention sensitive areas, let alone a church? This stuff is it's got to stop. They just constantly make up their own rules and pick things apart. And, the Second Amendment does not say you can't carry in a church. Doesn't mention sensitive areas, but yet the liberals in the liberal states keep chipping away and making up their own stupid laws. But anyway, so today I dropped off my Smith & Wesson 686 to the gunsmith, and I get most of my firearms from him. And I never noticed it before until I took it to the range a week or so ago and did a comparison between the Smith & Wesson 686 and the Ruger GP100, that I noticed the front sight on the Smith & Wesson 686 was beyond bent. It was actually wavy. I don't know how I never saw that before. So I brought it to the gunsmith to have him change it. But since I had him change the sight, I decided to go with fiber optic sights. So I left the gun there this morning, and he will be replacing the front and rear sight with high-vis fiber optic sights. So that should be pretty cool. I love fiber optic sights. On a revolver where the front sight isn't even colored and the back sight is black. My old eyes, it's just harder to see. Yeah, boy, go Vols. So anyway, I was looking at fiber optic sights, and high-vis got very good ratings, and they're not terribly expensive. So I left my Smith & Wesson 686 there, and he will be replacing the front and rear factory sights with fiber optic. And hello, Susan. Thanks for joining. I just can't believe that it came from the factory bent like that. And welcome, Duke. Again, thanks to our moderators for keeping out the liberals that just woke up and crawled out of their mommy and daddy's basement. And Mr. Boo, you're going away too for being an asshole. Yeah, you're damn right this is the best president the country ever had. What I really don't understand is that we get more and more liberals that attend this live stream every week. And it's awesome. And Ted, welcome. And Jamie, good for you for being a libtard. The swiper, first of all, in order to put a red dot on a revolver, you need to modify it and put a rail on it. So that's not going to happen. Let's see. AG, I store all of my firearms in the gun safe, and I have an organizer that holds 6 firearms on each shelf, and I store them like that. The back straps and all that stuff, I just keep in the original case. Wow, look at all of these liberals that just got up and walked out of mommy and daddy's basement. Good for you. You don't have a job, you still live with your parents, and you got nothing better to do, so you decide to join a Republican live stream. That's good. Yeah, that's a good choice there, David. I got to tell you, nothing wrong with Roll Tide, but I'm all in on the Vols since we moved to Tennessee, but that's okay. AG, I store all the boxes. I have a shelf in my garage, and I just keep all the boxes there. And 80, hello to you too. Thanks for joining. Hey, Randall, happy Valentine's Day to all. And yet, you can't go wrong with Buc-ee's. And another note there, AG, a lot of people make a mistake by keeping their firearms in the plastic box it came with. And that's really not a good idea. You'll get rust after a period of times. Yeah, there's a lot of libs today, Mike. They don't have jobs, so they stay up all night playing video games, eating, Cheez-Its in their tighty whities, and when they wake up and they crawl out of their mommy and daddy's basements on Saturday, it's kind of flattering that this is the first thing they decide to do. Hey, Jay, cheers to you too, LAPD. Welcome, brother. We do have a bunch of new people today, and We do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate that. You know what, Kyle? I know it's been covered, but you know what? I'm kind of torn on that issue. I think so many things went wrong everywhere. This was not good for the Second Amendment. First of all, this whole thing could have been avoided if he would have just stayed in his parents' basement and pet his cats. And he just shouldn't have been there. I'm not saying the guy deserved to get killed, but you know what? When you confront an ICE officer and stand in their way, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, when you interfere with ICE doing their job, that's no longer protesting. And he didn't get shot because he had a concealed weapon. He didn't get shot because he was protesting. But if you're carrying a firearm and you're interfering with ICE doing their job, well, now you're a criminal and your carry permit is null and void. And I'm sorry, I think he crossed the line by getting involved with ICE. If he would have stayed across the street and carried a sign and chanted, etc., nothing would have happened. I mean, like I've said before, if I say to myself, you know what, I think I'm going to attend this protest today. And then I say, well, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to bring a gun and 3 magazines. Maybe you just shouldn't go to the damn protest. Or if you do go to the protest, you do what you're supposed to do. You stand across the street and you hold up your sign and you protest. It's got nothing to do with the guy pulling out a gun or holding up a phone. What it's got to do with is he interfered with ICE doing their job. And you have to keep in mind that, these ICE officers have been putting up with a lot of bullshit for a long time. You got people throwing rocks at them, people throwing bottles at them. These guys have no idea what you're going to do. Now look at these mental patients now in Minnesota. And now look what they're doing. Right? In Minnesota, they have, hey, doggone, thanks, further. Glad you can make it. Anyway, so look what these jackasses are doing now in Minnesota. They're setting up checkpoints and they're checking vehicles to see if there's ICE agents. Now, I watched a video last week where they stopped a vehicle and they're running license plates. How the hell are these guys running license plates at checkpoints? They have to have somebody helping them. But now, you're going to stop a vehicle full of ICE agents? I mean, not for nothing. You're just asking to get shot. These ICE guys, they have no idea who you are, what you're doing, and now they're wearing masks, sticking their faces inside of a vehicle full of ICE officers. I'm sorry. I'm surprised you don't see more people getting shot. And it's one thing to protest, but when you start kicking their car, standing in front of the ICE officers, preventing them from doing their jobs, throwing bottles at them, I'm sorry, that's no longer a protest. Anyway, um, I agree, Duke. They should remove the mayor and the governor. Um, I like what DeSantis did yesterday is he announced that any mayor that does not support ICE will be removed. And look at that jackass, um, Mickey Sherrill in New Jersey. She just signed an executive order banning ICE from arresting uh, people in New Jersey. First of all, since when does state law get to trump federal law? They're telling the federal government what to do? No, 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 no. Federal government should be telling the states what to do. And that jackass that they elected in New Jersey, these people got exactly what they voted for. She is worse than Governor Murphy, and you can't tell me she won by a landslide. And these mayors that are telling people to interfere, I mean, that's treason, right? Another thing that jackass governor in New Jersey did is she created a portal for people to track and monitor ICE. I mean, so they're encouraging illegals that are committing crimes, killing people, raping people. I just don't understand it. Anyway, so I'm wondering how many of you people own the Ruger RXM? And the reason I'm asking is the Ruger RXM is an awesome gun for the money. It's about $400. And one of the main benefits of the Ruger RXM is that it's modular. The fire control unit pulls out of the firearm, and you can replace grip modules and slides and barrels without going to an FFL. So I thought it would be a great idea if Ruger made a fire control insert, and they do not. However, if you do own a Ruger RXM, I did see yesterday that the Glock store now sells Ruger fire control inserts for about $270. Now, in my opinion, that's a little steep. Yes, they did just release the compact after a year. But anyway, I think $270 is a little steep for a fire control insert. If it was around $150, it would be great. $270, honestly, is cheaper to just buy a whole new Ruger RXM. By the time you spend $270 on the fire control insert, you pay the transfer fee, and then you buy a slide and a grip module and a barrel and a spring. You're going to be up to over $600 when you could just buy a new Ruger RXM for $400. Sig Sauer does the same thing. I mean, if you're going to claim that your gun is modular, then you should make it affordable to encourage people to buy the parts and modify their guns. But I'm hoping that now that the Glock store is selling the Ruger fire control inserts, that other places will follow suit and make them as well. And, well, look at all of these liberals we got today. Woohoo! I'm glad I wore my Trump hat today. I wore it just for you assholes. They have no jobs. They wake up at around noon because they don't have to go to work. Michael, what 10 millimeter do I recommend? Absolutely Glock 29. Now, I have a Glock 20 and a Glock 29, and um, the Glock 29 is definitely much easier to carry, so I do carry that a lot. Yeah, I'm pissing them all off today, Mike, but I don't really care. This is our stream, not the liberal stream. Um, so, yeah, I love the Glock 20 also. However, um, it's a little bulky to carry. And to answer your question, Mike, absolutely love the Glock 19X. I think the Glock 19X is probably the best Glock ever made. It's the only Glock that's not black. It's flat dark earth, but it gives you the best of both worlds. Um, the Glock 19X has the full size grip of the Glock 17 with a compact slide of the Glock 19. So I just think that's perfect. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the comments here. And newbies live forever. Yeah, actually, I am upset that the guy was killed. I really am. Um, but at the same time, it could have been avoided. Stay away from the damn law enforcement officers. And thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Take a look at my videos. I have over 850 of them. A lot of Glock videos. Yeah, I do dislike the fact that the government does not like us carrying. Um, I don't like that the gun laws are different in every state. You know, you got to look at it this way, though. It was an unnecessary death, and it could have been avoided if he just stayed the fuck away. But no, he had to get involved and interfere with federal officers. And I'm sorry, I support all law enforcement. And if you people support the liberals allowing illegal people here uh, to murder, rape, kill, human traffic, then you're the problem. This is a gun stream, and we'll discuss and debate any firearm related questions and Second Amendment questions, but um, we're not going to get into political discussions. And screw you, Amazing Jacob. It's my damn channel. I'll wear any frickin' hat I want. What concealed carry do I recommend for off duty? There's so many of them. Um, you know, when I carry at work, I like the Hellcat Pro, and I like the Savage Stance. Those are great carry guns. They conceal very well. And I agree, Braveheart. We need sensible gun laws, but they should be on the federal level. They shouldn't be regulated at the state level. And we already have a lot of gun laws on the books, right? But yet the liberals keep making more gun laws. Mike, I would go with the Hellcat Pro. Not the Hellcat, the Hellcat Pro. And I'm a sorry dipshit, but he was not exercising his First Amendment right. The First Amendment right does not give you the right to interfere with law enforcement doing their job. So anyway, the other stupid thing that liberals are doing is they're making gun laws to make things that are illegal, like Glock switches, right? They're already illegal on the federal level. So now you have like New York and New Jersey passing a law to make a Glock switch illegal. So now they're double illegal. I mean, it's just freaking stupid that things that are already illegal on a federal level, that the liberal states are trying to make more gun laws to make something that's already illegal. And that dumbass statement that the governor of New York said, trying to ban guns that shoot over 1,200 rounds a minute. What the hell is she talking about? And all these liberals have people with guns protecting them. But if you look at the statistics now, there are more liberals buying guns than ever before. Why? Because they know that they're cuckoo. The liberals know the smart liberals know that they're not safe anymore, and they can't count on law enforcement to protect them. So they're now buying guns. And kudos to them for realizing that, the cops are not there to protect you. And yes, we definitely support law enforcement, but law enforcement does not have a legal obligation to protect an individual. Their obligation is to protect the public at large. Go Vols, baby. Anyway, we have a lot of new people today, and that's great. And even the liberals. You know what? I don't have a problem with you being a liberal and coming to the gun channel and contributing and even arguing about firearms and the Second Amendment as long as it's respectful. I have no problem with that. It's the liberals that drink the damn Kool-Aid. You know what, Nubsy? I kind of agree. It would be nice if we could all get along. I mean, I'm old. I've been around a long time. And I don't think I have ever seen this much hatred that one party has for another, ever. When I was a kid, if the Democrats won an election, it was like, oh, well, no big deal. We'll get him next time. But the hatred across party lines, I don't know when that started. It probably started when all this stupid shit happened where everybody gets a trophy and everything is racist and everything hurts people's feelings. Like, when did that happen? It's like you woke up one day and all of a sudden everything hurts people's feelings. Well, yeah, it would be nice if we all could get along, but I don't see in our lifetime that's ever going to happen. And in all fairness, on both sides, it seems that they are far extreme one way or the other. There is no more middle ground. You're either far left or far right. Now, let's look at President John F. Kennedy, okay? He was the last liberal, in my opinion, that loved his country. He was a God-fearing man. He believed in the Second Amendment. He was a shooter. There is no way in hell that that guy would run as a Democrat with these lunatics they have today. But you know, the funny thing about it is, you notice all this bullshit going on in Minnesota didn't start until after they uncovered all of that fraud by Tampon Tim and Omar. And don't you just find it a little ridiculous that it just seems coincidental that they find out all of this fraud and now they're having all of these riots and shit like that to distract people from what the real problem is. Yeah, I agree, Duke. I mean, they make us that way. Unfortunately, we have to defend everything every day. And you know what? When it comes to the Second Amendment, I don't know why we even have to fight for it. I mean, when you think about it, why is it that the Second Amendment is the only amendment that requires a license or a permit? You shouldn't need a permit to carry a firearm. It's already, the Second Amendment is your permit, right? You don't need a permit to speak. You don't need a permit for any of the other amendments. But for the Second Amendment, that one you need a permit or a license for? Hey, Junkyard Knight, welcome, brother. You know what, George? I'm glad that open carry is legal in Florida. I live in the great state of Tennessee, and we're allowed to open or conceal carry without a permit. And I'm tired of these dumbass arguments where, the gun community is supposed to be a family. And I can't tell you how much hostility and argument there is over whether you should open or conceal carry. I just want you to carry. I don't care. I don't care if you open carry. I don't care if you conceal carry. The main thing is that you carry, all right? Now, the dumbass argument about open carrying makes you a target is stupid, all right? I'm a computer guy. I'm a data guy by trade. I analyze tons and tons of data. There is no data that suggests that people were killed because they were open carrying. It doesn't make you a threat. Why? Because the criminals are cowards. They're not going to confront somebody carrying a gun. I open carry almost all the time in Tennessee. And you know what? I guarantee you, there were probably a bunch of times where I may have been a victim, but because I was open carrying, they moved on and went to somebody else. That's my opinion. Another thing is, these jackasses that say, oh, you shouldn't open carry, you're a target. I like the element of surprise, says these people that are wearing a Kydex holster. What the hell element of surprise is that? You're wearing a Kydex holster, you could hear that sound in the next county. So there goes your element of surprise. And it all comes down to situational awareness, right? A lot of responsibility comes with owning a firearm. And when you make a decision to carry, it becomes even more so. But you need to be aware of your situation, right? You have to use common sense. Now, open carrying depends on where you are. I don't open carry all the time. If I'm in a neighborhood that's a sketchy neighborhood or a neighborhood that I'm not familiar with, I'm not going to open carry. But here in where I live, where it's very rural, I open carry all the time. When I go to work, I make sure I deep conceal. But you have to use common sense, and you have to be aware of your surroundings. And if you're going to go to an area and say, well, I'm going to Memphis, and that's a real shithole, and I better carry my gun. Well, then maybe you either just shouldn't go, or if you are going to carry, conceal. Um, you just need to use common sense. There's no right way to carry, there's no wrong way to carry, but there are multiple ways to carry. And it depends on the environment and the situation. I mean, here, fortunately, I open carry all the time. I walk past law enforcement and civilians. Nobody even looks at you goofy here in Tennessee. Now, in some states, even if you could open carry, it may make people a little queasy or a little uneasy. You have to take all of that into consideration. I disagree with that, George. I first of all, again, if you're being disarmed from behind, then you're not aware of your surroundings. What I normally do when I walk into a store or something like that, I stand sideways so that my firearm is facing the back of the person in front of me, and I have my arm over the firearm, and the person behind me can't see it. I mean, you have to make adjustments and you have to be aware of your situation. But I disagree. I don't see any data that shows how many people got shot because the guy behind them stole their gun. I'm just not buying that. I agree with that, Braveheart. I mean, honestly, if if I'm out in public and I see a lot of people carrying a gun, I feel a hell of a lot more comfortable. But again, these people saying you should only open carry, you should only conceal carry. There is no way to carry. You carry what's comfortable for you. If you're not comfortable open carrying, then don't do it. But don't tell me that because I'm open carrying, the guy behind me is going to steal my gun. That if that happens, that's on me for not being aware that there's a person behind me. It's very easy to stand online and just turn your body so that your firearm isn't visible to the guy behind you and it's facing the back of the guy in front of you. I feel safer around everybody carrying. Well, there's a lot of jackets for carry. Matter of fact, I've done a lot of reviews on the Venado conceal carry garments. I have their vests that I wear when I ride my motorcycle. I have their jackets. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you may want to do so and take a look at them. I'm happy we got a lot of new people today. Where does the host live? That would be me. And I live in Tennessee. Yes, an armed society is a polite society. Jib Jab, welcome back, brother. Good to see you again. Good afternoon to you, too. An armed society is a friendly society. When you have a government telling you you shouldn't own guns, then you need to buy more guns. The whole solution to that is they want an unarmed society, just like Hitler and Stalin did, so that they can control you and you can't fight back. That's why. When was the government said you shouldn't own guns? I guess you didn't read Hooked on Phonics, but anyway, Um, when the government is telling you you shouldn't own a gun, or you can't carry here, or you can't carry there, they're basically telling you that they don't want you to own a gun. Why is the government blocking people from owning and carrying firearms? Because they don't want you to have them. Well, you know what? I love Judge Janine. I really do. But I was a little miffed at her stupid comment, too, when uh, she said that anybody carrying in D.C. is going to go to jail, even if they're law abiding gun owners. I mean, she's a smart person. She kind of walked that back, but I don't know. I don't think in our lifetime um, we'll ever see our Second Amendment rights that are true Second Amendment rights. Max, are you smoking crack or something? I don't understand your comments. No, we do not comply. And they will never take our guns, damn right. The point is, in these liberal states, they rewrite the Second Amendment, as far as I'm concerned. They make changes to the Second Amendment. And again, why is the Second Amendment the only amendment that you need a license or a permit for? Yeah, actually, Jib Jab, that is actually not even a secret anymore. Um, in Tennessee, a lot of the Republicans here are rhinos, including Governor Bill Lee. Now, Governor Bill Lee signed a bill 2 years ago where we don't need a license to carry, open or concealed. So you would think he's a great supporter of the Second Amendment, right? But Tennessee has this dumb law on the books called the intent to go armed, which technically makes it illegal to carry a firearm. Now, nobody's ever been charged with it because if you don't need a permit to carry a firearm, then you can't charge somebody with the intent to go armed. So they've been trying to get that off the books for years. And the courts ruled that the intent to go armed law is unconstitutional and made it invalid and unenforceable. And Governor Bill Lee and the Attorney General have appealed it. Now, it's kind of contradictory. You can't say you're a Second Amendment supporter and then appeal a law that shouldn't even exist in the first place. Max, I still think you're smoking crack over there. I think you're missing the point. The point is that the liberal states are making up their own frickin' gun laws. The Second Amendment doesn't apply to specific states or liberals or Republicans. It's all Americans have the right to keep and bear arms and shall not be infringed. What the hell do they don't understand about shall not be infringed? Why is it that they only attack the Second Amendment, right? You have the whole Bill of Rights. Let's only go after number 2. Why? Can somebody give me an answer? Why are they only attacking the Second Amendment? Why is it only the Second Amendment requires a license or permit? And you know what? I can tell you why they're doing that. Because the Second Amendment protects all the others. Yeah, well, I agree, Jib Jab. See, that's the problem is that when you have these dumb gun laws on the books, like the intent to go armed, um, you know, maybe they don't like a guinea like me from New Jersey and they want to make an example out of me. So they can arrest me. I agree with you, Larson. You wouldn't have any of the amendments if it wasn't for the second. And that's what these liberals don't understand, is that we're not giving up our guns. And the Second Amendment does protect all the others. I just don't understand how they get to only attack the Second Amendment in every frickin' liberal state. How can that possibly be? I mean, the federal courts 50 years ago should have said, hands off the Second Amendment. And not allow states to do what they want to do. Now, you're going to say, well, the states have the right. Well, why do states don't change any of the other amendments? And the problem is, in these liberal states, you have people that know nothing about guns, and they're making up gun laws. That's just messed up. Well, we have a lot of new people today. I'm really glad to see that. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, and if you support the Second Amendment, share our channel with all your gun enthusiast friends, share our videos, like our videos, comment. That'll help us get pushed out to more and more people. We are growing. We have a lot. We still have a long way to go, but we've come a long way in the past year. Man, I think we set a record today. Again, thank you so much. I can't thank our moderators enough for keeping all of these liberals that live in their parents' basements and getting rid of them from the channel. I think we set a record today. I don't think we've had this many liberals crawling out of their parents' basements on a live stream ever. So we must be doing something right. And maybe I need to wear this hat more often to piss them off. What I don't understand is that if you're a gun owner and you vote for liberals to take your guns away, you're a special kind of stupid, aren't you? Yeah, we do have liberal asses, I got to tell you. It's awesome, though. I mean, when you think about it, right? I mean, I'm not saying everybody here is a Republican, but most of us are gun owners, and that's all we care about. And there's nothing wrong with being a liberal gun owner as long as you're not an asshole. And for the fact that all these liberals are deciding to join our pro-gun stream, that's just awesome. And thank you for that, Mike. I appreciate that. Oh, well, you know what? Duke? Normally, you would be correct that the red states have more guns than the blue states, but not in the case of California. Nobody's saying the liberals took guns away. That you people are not listening. What I'm saying is the liberals are taking your gun rights away. They're making it harder to buy a gun. they're making it impossible to carry a gun. That's not enough for you? Inner cities have lots of guns. Of course they do. Why? Inner cities have high crime. People need guns to protect themselves. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, normally the red states would own more guns except for California. But that's because of the population. California owns a lot of guns here. And Silver X, welcome. And hello from the UK. I don't know where you are in the UK, but I spent a lot of time there. The last job I had, I think I spent about 18 months in Wales. Awesome country. Yeah, I agree with that, Talix. They don't care about the future. What I also don't understand is that um, why are the liberals hell-bent on destroying this country? They have children, they have grandchildren, and they're making a country unsafe for their family and for generations of their family. Yeah, well, that's another problem. The magazine capacity is stupid. There's nowhere in the Second Amendment that says you can carry X amount of rounds. That's another thing that the liberals arbitrarily pulled a number out of their ass and said 10 rounds is acceptable. You know what? One death is one too many. Okay? But what they're basically saying by having a magazine restriction and saying you can't have 15 rounds, but you could have 10, what they're saying is 10 casualties is acceptable, but 15 isn't. Now, come on. If you're going to deem me competent and qualified to own and carry a firearm, then what are you telling me how many rounds I can have for? They already know that the criminals are always going to have their high capacity magazines. Just shows how stupid the liberals are. Why? They can't control us. They know that. They can't control the criminals. They can control us. They know they can't control the criminals. So they ignore the criminals, and the criminals don't adhere to gun laws. So what do the liberals do? Oh, let's make more gun laws so that the law-abiding citizens are hindered. So they create stupid gun laws to punish the law-abiding citizen. And yet they do nothing. They don't even enforce the laws against the criminals. How many people you see getting arrested for attacking ICE or rioting or looting? Look what happened during the George Floyd incident in Minnesota. They lit the damn police department on fire. Nobody was arrested. That's what the liberals want? I can tell you what it all comes down to. The liberals hate Donald Trump so much that they would rather destroy the country than to agree with or side with him. Now, the funny thing about it is that the liberals are all for dismembering the Second Amendment, right? However, when the Trump administration mentioned maybe not allowing the trans people to own a firearm, what's the first thing the liberals did? You can't do that. It's unconstitutional. Oh, that's unconstitutional. To have a lunatic trans who, by the way, have more history with mass shootings than anybody else, and not allowing them to have a gun is unconstitutional. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, we have a lot of new people on the stream today, and thank you all for attending. If you haven't done so, please hit the subscribe button. I would appreciate that. Yeah, and I agree with that too, Jacko. There are foreign countries in our business. Yep. The thing the liberals don't understand is that we have more guns in this country than people. In what world do they think this is going to happen? Let's ban assault weapons. There's no such thing as an assault weapon. That's a term that the liberals made up. And what they do is the liberals make up shit like that so that they can scare the other liberals so that they say, oh, guns are bad, just like Orange Man bad. We have more guns in this country than we have people. How did they possibly think they're going to ban anything? They know they can't control the criminals. The only thing they can do is control us. And you know what? They don't want to control the criminals. They actually encourage criminal behavior. You know they do. That's why they don't want to arrest the illegals. Just the fact that this is the thing that's ironic. If you're in the country illegally, you already broke the law and you're already a criminal. So don't say that by arresting illegals, you're arresting innocent people. They're already illegal. They came to the country illegally. They're already a criminal. You know, as Zen Master, I get to say whatever I want. If you people are going to antagonize me and start talking shit, just like you're entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to mine. If you're going to speak your words, I'm going to speak my words. And I don't care if you get butt hurt. That's just too damn bad. That's not my problem. The whole point is that this is a family here, right? I have my loyal supporters and followers that attend this live stream religiously. And we fight and support the Second Amendment. And if you're going to go against the Second Amendment, then I'm sorry, but you're an enemy. Oh, you know what? I'll feed the trolls. I don't care. I find them entertaining because it does show how stupid they are. Yeah, what about Alex Preddy? A guy that should have stayed in his parents' basement petting his cats and instead interferes with federal agents and then then they call him a victim. You know what? I'm sorry, but he didn't break the law by carrying a firearm. He didn't break the law by attending a protest. He broke the law by interfering with federal officers. And you know what? By doing that, you're no longer a law-abiding citizen. You're now a criminal, and your carry permit is now null and void because you're carrying a gun as a criminal. And again, I'm honored to have all of you liberals that just crawled out of your parents' basements today. Being that you don't have jobs, you stay up all night playing your video games and eating Cheetos in your tidy whities. And you know what? There is a difference between Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse did not interfere with the law enforcement, number one. The second thing is that when law enforcement showed up, the first thing Kyle Rittenhouse did was put up his damn hands. And Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed people that were trying to kill him. There is no difference. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked. If you followed the case, the people that attacked him were criminals. I'm sorry, there is no difference between those two. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked by people trying to kill him. But the first thing he did when law enforcement came, he raised his damn hands. You know what? Are you that fucking stupid? When law enforcement tells you to stop, you run. You stand in front of the vehicle and try to run them over. I was taught a long time ago as a kid. My father told me, if I got pulled over by the cops, stop the car, shut off the vehicle, put your hands on the steering wheel until the officer tells you what to do. And I'm sorry, but what don't you understand when a police officer says, stop, stop? I agree, Jib Jab. You know, Kyle Rittenhouse probably should have stayed home too. But the difference is he really was attacked by people trying to kill him. And they all had criminal records. And the difference is that Kyle Rittenhouse did not interfere with law enforcement doing their job. So it's really not the same thing. Yeah, Alex Petty shouldn't have died, but he shouldn't have been there either. Like I said, if you want to protest, that's one thing. But when you're kicking cars and interfering with law enforcement, that's no longer protesting. What about January 6th? Nobody died on January 6th. And Jeremy, you got too much shit in your brains. You're going away. Again, today, I really, really thank our moderators for keeping the liberals out. We get more and more of them every week, and you guys got a hell of a workout today. You have these liberal mayors and governors encouraging people to resist and fight ICE. I'm sorry, look what Tampon Tim did in Minneapolis. He had the National Guard give the paid protesters hot chocolate and donuts. Wow, time flies. We got 3 minutes left, guys. Yeah, you're right, Jib Jab. That no cash bail thing, that's a huge problem. You have all these liberal states that have no cash bail. So someone that's a violent criminal, that's in jail for rape, murder, etc., walk in and walk out within 10 minutes. So they're free to go out and commit those crimes over and over and over again. That's just as big of a problem as the illegals. And I'm sorry, you're standing in front of an ICE vehicle. You know, really, what are you thinking? When they tell you to stop, what don't you understand about stop? And like I said, I wish we could all just get along. I've never seen so much hatred between political parties. I've never seen so much hatred between one race and another. And there's no need for that. There really isn't. I mean, even the racism is out of control, and there's no need for it. It's like what really aggravates the piss out of me is when I have friends of mine say, oh, you know what? I have a black friend that, or I have an Asian friend that, why can't it just be, I have a friend? It's just stupid. I mean, we're all human beings. We all live in the same country. I, 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 I don't know. I just don't understand. You know, I really don't like getting religious, but, you know, we are all God's children. We shouldn't be fighting with each other because of the color of skin or religious beliefs, unless your religion promotes violence. And again, this all happened when I got up one day and all of a sudden, everything hurt people's feelings. Everybody gets a trophy. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Hurting feelings. When the hell did that happen? Yeah, so what? Things hurt. Everybody gets a trophy? For what? A participation trophy? When I was a kid and you applied and you tried out for the team, you go to your coach's door, you look on the door, and if your name isn't on the list, you didn't make the team. Nobody cried. Nobody got a trophy. What do I carry? That's a great question. Depends on where I am, what I'm doing. I own so many guns that it's kind of hard. But anyway, I want to leave you all with this, okay? We all belong to the same gun community, and we should all get together as one. There is no black or white or Asian or Hispanic. We're all people. And I just don't understand how at this day and age, you know, we really haven't moved past the prejudice that we have here. Yep, fat guys absolutely do conceal very well. I'm fat. It's awesome being fat. Anyway, guys, it is 1:00, and I appreciate everybody who attended. Even the liberals, thank you all for attending. You provided me with a lot of entertainment, as well as everybody else. And you know what? I say it all the time. There's nothing wrong with arguing as long as it doesn't get disrespectful. And Jib Jab, you know, I'm glad you still like me, brother. I love you too. And maybe it's the way I word things. Like, there's nothing wrong with the 40 caliber Jib Jab. It's just in my mind, it doesn't make sense when you can shoot 40 caliber out of a 10 millimeter. You know, when 10 millimeter was on its way to being extinct and 40 caliber was hot, but now that 10 millimeter is making a comeback, if I were buying now, there's no way I would buy 40 caliber. I would get a 10 millimeter and shoot 40 caliber out of it. It's no different than buying a 357 Magnum. I would never recommend getting a 38 Special. I would recommend getting a 357 and shooting 38 Special out of it. And yeah, you know what, Duke? When you say something negative about the 40 caliber, it's like people think you said something about their mother. But I think maybe because I'm from New Jersey and I'm a little brash, it's the way I come across. there's nothing wrong with the cartridge. 40 caliber cartridge is perfectly viable. There's nothing wrong with that. My point is that I just think it's silly now. Back then, I had one too. I had a Glock 22 10 millimeter, right? And then when 10 millimeters became popular, all I'm saying is now with the choices out there, I don't see why anybody would go out now and buy a 40 caliber when you could buy a 10 millimeter and shoot 40 caliber out of it. That's all. 40 caliber is a very good round for defense. It's a high pressure cartridge with high capacity. I never said that it wasn't. I never said a 40 caliber was a crappy round for defense. All I've ever said is that it's stupid when you can get a 10 millimeter and shoot 40 out of it. Hey, Big Louie. Yeah, our live stream is actually ending right now, Big Louie. But I'm going to call you right after the stream. Anyway, everybody that joined our stream today, I appreciate you all. Love you guys. If you haven't done so, don't forget, please subscribe. Jib Jab, as always, brother, thank you so much. And I always appreciate your kind words and encouragement, because there's times when there's just some days I just had enough. And I appreciate your encouragement to keep this channel going here. So appreciate it. Thank you all. And I'll call you now, Big Louie. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed weekend.